Biden calls for de-escalation with Russia following sanctions, proposes meeting with Putin. President Joe Biden called for a de-escalation in tensions with Russia on Thursday after hitting the country with fresh sanctions and proposed a meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin this summer. The United States is not looking to kick off a cycle of escalation and conflict with Russia. We want a stable, predictable relationship, Biden said. If Russia continues to interfere with our democracy, I'm prepared to take further actions to respond. It is my responsibility as President of the United States to do so. Biden said he had a candid and respectful conversation with Putin earlier this week when he told his counterpart that he would be retaliating for interference in the 2020 presidential election and a sweeping cyber attack against American government. During the conversation, Biden said he proposed a summit in Europe between him and Putin and that aides from the two countries were discussing plans. Now is the time to de-escalate. The way forward is through thoughtful dialogue and diplomatic process, Biden said. The U.S. is prepared to continue constructively to move through that process. My bottom line is this. Where there's an interest in the United States to work with Russia, we should. Biden signed an executive order Thursday morning to strengthen his administration's response to Russia, the White House said. Under the order, the Treasury Department has blacklisted 6 Russian technology companies that provide support to the cyber program run by Russia's intelligence services. Treasury also sanctioned 32 entities and individuals for carrying out Russian government-directed attempts to influence the 2020 U.S. presidential election, and other acts of disinformation and interference, as well as 8 individuals and entities associated with Russia's actions in Crimea. In a call with reporters Thursday morning, a senior administration official said the U.S.'s response was intended to be resolute but proportionate to Russia's actions, while emphasizing that the U.S. wanted to avoid an escalatory relationship. The official added that elements of the U.S.'s response would remain unseen. One of the Russians listed is Konstantin Kilimnik, a former employee of Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort, whom U.S. officials have identified as a Russian intelligence agent. The Treasury Department said Thursday that Kilimnik provided Russian intelligence services with sensitive information on polling and campaign strategy during the U.S. presidential election in 2016 and sought to promote the narrative that Ukraine, not Russia, had interfered in the 2016 U.S. presidential election. The Biden administration is also expelling 10 personnel from the Russian embassy in Washington, D.C., including members of Russian intelligence services. Additionally, the White House said it is responding to reports that Russia encouraged Taliban attacks against U.S. and coalition personnel in Afghanistan, which is being handled through diplomatic, military, and intelligence channels, due to sensitivity of the matter and safety of forces. The administration official said that U.S. intelligence agencies had low to moderate confidence in reports that Russia offered to pay bounties for dead American troops in part because the intelligence relies on detainee reporting and due to the challenging operating environment in Afghanistan. The U.S. also formally named Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service as the perpetrator of the SolarWinds cyber attack last year, a widespread breach that tore into U.S. government agencies and dozens of corporations. A spokesperson for Russia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs vowed a strong rebuff in response to such aggressive actions, and said U.S. Ambassador John Sullivan had been called to the ministry. The response to the sanctions will be inescapable, the spokesperson, Maria Zakharova, said. Washington must realize that they will have to pay for the degradation of bilateral relations. The responsibility for what is happening lies entirely with the United States of America. The news of the sanctions was first reported by Bloomberg. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan told reporters outside the White House that Biden informed Russian President Vladimir Putin in their call earlier this week that the U.S. would be imposing the new sanctions.